Hello again, I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3dgameman.com, and today I'm looking at the Spire Sonex 610 mid-tower case. Now the box is nothing to look at. It's a generic box for the most part. Typical case packaging material, styrofoam on either end, and there's some more styrofoam here in the middle, which is good. The more the better to protect the case, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. On the front of the case they have some protective plastic as well as at the top. Let me remove that. And now let's have a closer look at the case. This is a mid-tower case. It's all black, has kind of like this glossy front bezel as well as a glossy top here, and lots of mesh for ventilation. At the top there's two USB 2 ports, a microphone jack, headphone jack. There's also a card reader. That's pretty neat to have on a case. You don't see that a lot, and personally I'd like to see it on most cases. It's just super convenient. This is a hard drive LED, power button, and reset button. At the front, there's four 5¼ drive bays and one external 3.5-inch drive bay. And note how all of these are mesh. They also double as dust filters. At the bottom, there's more mesh. Lots of ventilation here, so that front 120mm fan can intake lots of cool air. To remove the front panel, simply pull at the bottom. Now with it removed, you can see that each of the drive bay covers do indeed have foam on them, and they double as dust filters. Also, that 120mm blue LED intake fan has a filter on the front as well. And here's what that blue LED fan looks like. The left side panel has ventilation, but you can also install two optional 120mm fans here if you want to. The right side panel is plain. At the back, at the very top, is where a standard ATX power supply gets installed. They include one 120mm exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. They include 7 expansion slots, some extra ventilation right here, as well as 2 rubber grommeted holes. Now these holes are for routing water cooling tubes and or cables through, and note that both side panels have thumb screws. There's 2 on each. They include this little bag, and in it they have a warranty card, user's manual, a speaker, as well as some motherboard standoffs and other screws. Now, as you can see, there's not a lot of space to work on the inside of this case. This is certainly not a large mid-tower case by any means, but note that there is a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, as well as punch-outs for organizing the cables. However, there is very little space behind the motherboard tray and that right side panel, so you really can't tuck a lot of stuff behind it. There's also 6 3.5-inch drive bays, but remember that one of those is an external 3.5-inch drive bay. You can install video cards that are up to approximately 250mm in length, and coolers that are approximately 165mm in height, but that's going to vary if you have a fan or fans installed on the left side panel. At the bottom, there are 4 plastic feet. Just to recap, there's one 120mm blue LED intake fan at the front of the case and another 120mm exhaust fan at the back of the case. Now, have a listen to the stock cooling. This is certainly not a knock your socks off kind of case. It's not meant to be. This is meant to be a budget case. So if you're on a budget and you want a case that pretty much does everything you should be looking for in a mid-tower case at an affordable price, well, this is pretty much it. So it fits that budget category very well. Overall, this is a great product. Until next time, take care.